So today we're going to discover what exponents are and what it means to write in index notation. So let's begin. So what are exponents? Well, I have one of them right here, that little number 4 there. And we're going to talk about what that means in just a moment. But before we do, what I've actually got written here, this really big 3 and this smaller 4 just on the upper right of it, is what we call index notation. It is made up of the bigger number that we refer to as the base and the smaller number which has several names. It can be referred to as the exponent or the index, or most commonly it's referred to as the power. And as we read this statement, we often read it as 3 to the 4th power or 3 to the power of 4. So what does any of this all mean? Well, we use exponents here whenever we need to represent repeated multiplication. So in this problem, what this is actually saying is I'm going to multiply the base here of 3, but by itself 4 total times. So I write the number 3 here 4 times and I multiply it together. So exponents provide us a much neater way of writing long statements such as this. So let's have a look at what if we want to write something in index form, which is simply saying what if we want to write it using index notation. To do this, we need to first identify what is going to be the base of our index notation, which is quite simply what is the number that's repeatedly multiplying itself. In this problem, it's the number 5. Then we count the number of times that's multiplying by itself. Here, it's only multiplying by itself once, so our power is 1. In this second problem, we've got 5 times 5. So our base is going to be 5. The number of times that the 5 appears is twice, so it's 5 to the 2nd power. In the third question, it's got 5 times 5 times 5. Our base is still 5. However, it's now multiplying by itself 3 times, so our power is 3. Here, it's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, so our base is still 5. However, our power is now 4. Then finally, we've got 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Our base is still going to be 5, and our power is going to be how often it multiplied by itself, which is a total of 5 times. As you can see, as this repeated multiplication grows larger and larger, it's much neater to represent it in index notation. So let's extend this a little bit further, where it's now saying to simplify the following but still leave it in index form. Now, you'll immediately notice that our base changes in this question. So what we need to do is group these bases together. So in our first question, we've got to group the 2's together. So when we're looking at this, we do have a base of 2 and it repeats its multiplication twice. So it's 2 to the power of 2. However, it's still multiplying these 2 together, which is 6 times 6. So our base is 6. It's multiplying twice together, so it's 6 to the power of 2. You may hear people refer to the power of 2 as squared. That is the same thing. So we now apply this to each of the following problems, where we group the bases together. Here we've got 4 times 4, so one of our bases is 4. It repeats its multiplication by itself twice. That is going to be multiplied by a base of 9 that repeats its multiplication by itself 3 times. In our next problem, we've got a base of 3 that repeats its multiplication of itself once. We could just leave this as 3, but for this example, I'm going to have the 1 still written there. And that is going to be multiplied by the base of 5, and that repeats its multiplication 5 times. In the next question, we've got the base of 2 multiplied by itself a total of 4 times. We multiply that with the base of 7, which multiplies by itself 5 times. Finally, we've got the base of 9 that multiplies by itself a total of 5 times. And that multiplies with the base of 3 that multiplies by itself 3 times. Now you can very quickly see that as problems start to grow larger, it's much neater to be able to write these using index notation. So now it's your turn. I want you to try simplifying the following, but leaving each of these questions in index form. Remember, index form is the same as saying write each of these using index notation.